So this is the agenda that we put together for today's meeting. Did everyone have a chance to review the minutes from last board meeting? And I can pull those up just to make sure there's no questions or concerns or that we didn't miss anything. So I'll pull those back up. We'll review the action items immediately. Go ahead.
Yeah, I reviewed them. Connie and Adrian, did y'all get a chance to look at them?
Yes, I did.
Yes.
Any comments or concerns?
No.
Okay.
Well, Marie,
Yes.
like I told you, I'm gonna be traveling on the 1st, so I'm going to miss the training.
The training.
Okay.
Yes.
So
Okay.
we'll update you.
Okay. 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 And other than that, let's see.
Did you have any comments on the meeting? The minutes? Sorry.
Well, no, I think everything else, you know, I was good with. I understood anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm good with it.
Okay. All right. So do we want to approve the minutes or do we not have enough because we don't have Larry and Dominic?
Yeah, I don't think we have enough. So
Okay. So we'll jump into today's agenda then. I just have it up. Okay, so we went through the minutes. Old business is code of ethics. Marie, you presented last meeting and then made some changes or edits and then resent them to the group. Any feedback or comments on that?
I didn't get anything. Well, I got something from Dominic, and he said he was good with everything. Larry said he was good with everything.
Well, I did read them and I'm okay with it. I missed the part that I needed to respond.
I was okay with them as well.
Adrian, do you?
I was okay. Yes, I was okay with them.
Okay.
Okay. And then talking points, I didn't receive any feedback except for same as this was fine, this was good, and just knowing that we'll have to keep updating them as time goes on with all the activities that we're doing. But anybody else have feedback related to the talking points?
No, I'm good with everything.
Me too.
Okay.
So am I.
Okay.
Me too.
And then open meeting law, Larry was gonna. Oh. So Larry's not on the call right now, but he was gonna give us an update on open meeting law. Because he was gonna dive deeper into it, but there's been lots of emails circulating, so maybe we can circle back to this once Marie rejoins or Larry has a chance to get into the meeting.
Okay.
So the bucket before we get into like commissioner's report is just a reminder. There's the commission meeting that takes place every Monday. The legal education session is coming up on Tuesday, the 1st, and then just a reminder of the public hearing is the following week on the 8th, between 4 and 7.
Kashana, that Monday. Oh no.
Excuse me, Kashana, Larry is on the phone and he said that the link is not letting him into the meeting. It keeps telling him that the host has a meeting in progress.
Okay. I will have to stop recording to
Let
help
in.
him get into the meeting.
Mhm.
All right, Larry, try open meetings law.
Okay.
So just to say that again, Patricia had provided a document that gives like a really good overview of open meetings law.
Yep. And then it included the video conferencing version too. So I think it'd be good if we turned that into like a checklist for any meetings that we have coming up. Up there's Larry. Where- Okay. And then I was just reminding everyone of all the different meetings that we have upcoming to make sure everybody's still able to participate, or just a reminder. So we have the commission meetings that take place every Monday. We have the legal education session with, is it Mr. Weiss?
Yes.
That's on Tuesday at 7. And then the public hearing is the following Tuesday from 4 to 7. And then Connie just reflected that she won't be able to attend the legal, but public hearing. Any questions or concerns on these meetings? I think last time we met, we did get who's able to participate. Connie was the only one that we didn't have information on as it related to legal education session, but seems like everybody's able to participate in the other meetings.
Right.
Okay, Larry, are
I'll
you
be
in?
available at the other ones, with the
Okay.
exception of that legal.
Okay. All right, Larry, you made it in. I apologize for the issues.
No problem. No problem.
All right, so we're right at commissioners report. So Marie, I have any updates from the week from the redistricting commission, or any conversations you may have had related to contracting? I kind of gave you like an open space to provide any updates that you wanted the group to have.
Okay, so relative to the RFPs and the vendors that we selected, the contracts that the Department of Law have been working on have been finalized. Those contracts have been forwarded to both of the vendors for them to sign, notarize, and return to us. So that's in process, and we're just waiting for them to come back. Once we get them back, we should be all set in terms of proceeding with the vendors. In the commission meeting, they talked about the public hearing display ad and the notice that Tom Klingen was working on. A display ad is going to be put in the Times Union. There's also going to be something in the Colony and Bethlehem Spotlight newspapers. There's also going to be something in he was also trying to coordinate something for an Altamont paper to get the information about the hearing kind of broadly out there. So that's in play. I know he's received like some proofs of the display ads, and so that will be moving forward. Oh, it's the Altamont Enterprise.
Okay.
There's also a public announcement that Warren Hamilton, as part of the public relations subgroup, has been working on. That was discussed at the commission meeting as well. And Warren sent a document link out for the people that are involved with that subcommittee to review. So in terms of that subgroup, it's me and Adrian. So you should have gotten something, Adrian, to take a look at. Jeffrey Weiss was also looking at open meetings law, which was also discussed in the commission meeting. There was some questions about video conferencing, whether or not video conferencing had to be done, and if it's done, does it have to be published? And there was some open questions. So Jeffrey Weiss was gonna like dig deeper into that and do a report out at the next meeting. There was discussion about meetings that need to be transparent and public. And Jeffrey Weiss discussed the ability to work in small groups where you would have less than a quorum. That would not have to be public meetings. In those meetings would be, I think I'm echoing. Do y'all hear that?
Yep, I got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Those meetings would be like work meetings where no decisions would be made. And any meetings where decisions are made, they need to be open to the public. So there's still a little review that Jeffrey is doing, like I said, on some aspects related to that. There's additional information that has been published on the redistricting website. Everybody, again, should review that website and become like knowledgeable about the stuff that's on that website. Because, I mean, that's the piece that's definitely public facing right now that you could get questions on. So take the time to look at that website. You should continuously review it because the website is a work in progress, and every day there's the potential for more information to be added or for something to be updated.
Yeah, I feel like there's new stuff on there right now as we speak from when I looked at it last.
Yeah, so I think those were basically what they discussed in the commission meeting. There's still, well, I guess we could just move down the list.
Okay.
So in terms of IT, myself and Patricia have been meeting with IT as well as with the budget analyst, John Whipple, to ensure continued progress on the development of the website. In the last meeting, we kind of went over, you know, a list that we had previously developed where some things still remain to be done. We also spent time talking about functionality that needed to be developed relative to being able to receive comments, inquiries, submissions from the public, and also store the same on the website. That's something that's still being worked on. There was a lot of discussion about, John had been working on setting up a YouTube channel. that would support the holding of public hearings and public meetings. That channel has been set up. Going forward, the commission agendas are going to be published, and there's a requirement that the agendas be published at least 2 days prior to the meeting. So we're going to need to follow suit on that as well. I'm just checking my notes real quick. That was pretty much it. So in terms of continued website development also, we're gonna start like populating some stuff on our page. And y'all should be giving some thought to what should be out there. I mean, we had some discussions around that before. So ultimately, those question and answers that we came up with are gonna end up out there. Once we disseminate the press release, which is ultimately gonna turn into a public announcement, that'll be out there, as well as that informational flyer. But we need to also work on developing just some general information also about redistricting in terms of some sources that might be out there that we could provide as links that could serve as an educational piece for the public. And that's it for IT. Any questions on anything?
The 2-day agenda for, is that like, I guess bringing the 2-day notification out, is that just for public facing like our public hearing meetings? That's what the 2-day window is for?
No, that's for meetings.
Altogether, so even like this meeting?
Yes.
Okay.
So Larry, do you have any more questions on IT? Hello, hello, hello?
Hello? Can you, oh, I'm
Nope.
here. Is everybody still
Joe,
there?
that's pretty clear.
Okay.
No questions. So moving to Larry. Any updates on the budget subgroup that was
Well,
being worked on?
we're supposed to be having a meeting, I think tomorrow. I got an email. We still haven't had a budget meeting, and I got an email that they're supposed to be having. They want to have a meeting tomorrow. I think around 7 o'clock or something, 6 o'clock, Sunday the 27th. So I'm waiting on them to send me the link as to what tomorrow's meeting. I got an email that said that they were looking to have the joint budget committee meeting. If they do, this will be the
Link
first
for the
time.
link for all of the meetings that they're having.
Is the same link.
It's generally the same link,
Okay.
but you can't always use like a previous meeting link that you had because it attaches to a specific meeting, and sometimes you have to join by just using the ID and the passcode.
All right. Okay, well, I'll do that tomorrow, but I plan to be on that meeting. I responded. Is that me? Is that me?
I got it again.
Okay. Yeah, I plan to be on that meeting. I did respond. He asked the people to respond if they can make the meeting. That may be my phone. Let me see. Cut this off. Okay, now.
It's not your phone. It's an echo from another phone.
Okay. So I plan to attend that meeting tomorrow, but I have submitted to him our budget and our budget request, and he combined that with their budget. So I'm assuming that's what we're going to be discussing. I've already indicated to him that our budget is just a projection and it's not chiseled in stone. So I'm kind of saying, this is our projection, but we really are not, don't hold us to this because it may differ depending on what comes up. Okay?
All right. Any questions on budget? We'll be excited to hear from you next week to hear how that meeting went.
Yep.
I'll sign up for it. I got the notice too, so I have to respond to that to the information that I got. I believe it came from Lee.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So after this, I'll sign up for it.
Okay.
Larry, have you been able to get onto your Albany County email? I had sent you that link.
Yeah, you sent us the link, and when we went down there yesterday, our computer, I don't know, ever since they took our computer out and they said they cleaned it and all, and they brought it back, we put it back together, the damn thing ain't working right. So we don't know what's happening with it. Remember when I was out of my house for 8 months and they emptied my house? Well, they took
Okay.
our computer.
Okay.
So I've been trying to do everything basically on my tablet, so we'll see. I think the tablet is not letting me. I hope I
Okay.
can get my computer back up and running. I don't know what they did to it. They said they was cleaning it. Yeah, right. Anyway,
Okay, so in terms of the PR subgroup, there is nothing additional. I had mentioned before that there's a public announcement that's being worked on. And the only additional thing is what I had mentioned before, that there was discussion about reaching out to some PR firms to do some like real preliminary PR work in terms of I guess flushing out a plan. Nothing has happened with that yet. There was also some review of procurement guidelines relative to obtaining services from different firms and what the monetary thresholds were, to be able to do it in an expedited fashion. And so what we found out is that if it's under $5,000, you can essentially just go to one firm. After that, it has to be a competitive process. So that's the only thing going on with that right now.
All right, so moving to public hearing subgroup. Unfortunately, Larry and I were unable to attend the meeting that just took place due to not having the link. And like you said, Marie, we have to check our Albany County emails more because the link was most likely there. But they are excited to have us on their committee to help move things forward. It looks like there were just some documents that were, and I might be confusing it too, Marie, with the public announcement, because there were, I think that email was also intertwined with that.
Yeah, there is a document that I think Patricia drafted that provides the outline, like a rough draft of an outline for the public hearing,
mhm.
that has myself and Larry Volk doing some introductions of committee members, as well as like a really brief upfront educational piece. So, in talking about that, do I have it's really important that y'all look at the SharePoint site. There's also a lot of information on the SharePoint site. And related to that, Justine and Nasim, we need to obtain Albany County emails for y'all. I reached out to IT, basically requesting that access, and I'm just waiting for them to email me back. Because once you get the Albany County emails and access to the system, then you'll be able to also view any documentation that's out there related to this redistricting work.
Got it. Thank you.
Sounds good.
So, Kashana, can you give me the ability to share my screen?
I just have to stop sharing. You have the ability.
Okay, this is the Albany County site that I'm on. And up here at the top, where there's this waffle, if you click on it,
I don't see.
We
You
can't see
sharing?
your screen.
Can't see your screen.
oh wait. Hold on a second. Can you see it now?
Well,
It's your email.
Okay, so that's my email. So up on the top left, there's this waffle. If you click on it, there's a list of stuff. If you click on SharePoint, it'll take you to this screen. And this first link right here takes you to SharePoint. Oh my goodness. All right, so I gotta remember what I call this. Okay, so if you go to the document library, there's a bunch of stuff that's out here. So for example, if you go to public hearing, there's like these draft documents out here That includes the documents that Warren Hamilton is working on. If you go to public announcements, it has the progress report that they put together, which I believe is published on the website now. It also has these proofs of ads that they're getting ready to put in these papers. So I'm not going to go through all of this stuff, but there's a bunch of stuff out here. And most of this stuff is stuff that the commission has posted. There's meeting minutes that they've posted for like different meetings that they've had. So anyway, you get the gist. There's a lot of information out there that's relatively easy to access. There's also a contact list on here, which we need to update to include Justine and Nasim. So anyway, I get the general idea. There's a lessons learned document that we agreed that we would start working on to inform the process the next time it happens.
So do we want to create an MMD folder so that it has all of this, or do you want us to just merge our, like, for instance, the minutes? Do you want me to create an MMD folder and then it has all of our minutes in it? I guess in terms of even merging our information over, like, I can start working on that too.
Yeah, I think we should create a MMD. Can you create a folder that has subfolders?
Yep.
I think we should do that.
Okay, so I'll take that as an action item, is to start kind of building out a folder for MMD, and then we can start uploading our documents so it's transparent with the group too, and then they'll be able to
Yes.
see them too.
Yes. That would be wonderful. So any questions on this?
This was on your Albany website. I mean, on your Albany email.
Yeah, you can access it through where you go to see your email.
Okay. Okay.
So that is that. We're gonna table this operations work plan. Community engagement. We still have some work to do on developing the community organization list. Nasim did some work on identifying some organizations to add to that list, which we'll share shortly.
I have some
Well,
updates too. I have some
Okay.
updates on my list, churches and also organizations. I have some emails and I added a few churches as well. So I do have.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so at one point we're gonna need to blend everything to make sure it's all in one place.
Mhm.
Something I was getting ready to say, Justine is reviewing some documents that we developed for, I would say, for congruence and consistency with the law. Because we've developed quite a few documents and we need to make sure that across those documents, there's not contradictions and that they are consistent with what's in the law. So Justine, do you want to say anything relative to that? Is she still on?
I actually have to leave right now. I was about to type in the chat. Sorry about that.
Okay. All right. That's fine.
But really quick, I haven't gotten the chance to like actually look over it in depth because I was working on the project with Nasim. So, but if anything, I'll get back to you guys hopefully by the end of today regarding updates on that.
Okay. Yeah, you could just shoot an email. Okay, so the last thing that we're going to talk about, I had sent a really rough draft of a public outreach and engagement plan. I just tried to get something down on a piece of paper to generate discussion. So I'm going to all right, I gotta figure out how I do this. I am already sharing my screen. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna share that document. So can everybody see the document?
Yep.
Yeah. You
All
sent
right.
that to us, right? I think I read this.
So I emailed this to everybody.
I read it.
I just
I read
emailed
it.
it to Justine and Nasim because I forgot to include them in the email that I had sent last night. So let's talk about it. What do y'all think?
Goals and objectives. I read it and I thought about it, but I'm gonna read it again and rethink. I'm gonna have to take another minute. I read it, I thought about it, but then I gotta go back and reread it.
I read it as well and was ready to put it in implementation mode. Like this gave us the framework and I was like ready to start writing like what does it look like to actually execute on these things. So that's after I read it, that's where my mind went, was kind of putting it into action and almost giving roles and responsibilities around it, just because this part is going to be huge going forward. And then even thinking of like, yeah, I guess for me, it gave the foundation. And now I'm like, okay, now what do we need to do to support all of this going forward?
So
That's kind of what that was my thinking on because I did read it over. It was kind of late last night when I did read it. But it looked like a lot of responsibility to get to working on. So I guess that's where I am.
So that's good because that's the intent of it, because this is like, I guess, a listing of some things that we need to start doing now. So like for example, there's an event that's coming up on Monday. It's going to be at the Palace. I don't know if everybody saw it or if everybody is aware of it.
Are you talking about the black, like the last day of Black History Month, the Black Health and Wellness?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So that event is coming up. I feel like we should use that informational flyer. I feel like any of us that could go to that event should go to that event, and we should have copies of that flyer that we can start handing out. What do y'all think about that?
What time is this event?
Hold on a second, because
Okay.
I think I just got it yesterday. No, actually, it looks like it's at 7 o'clock on Monday. It says a free virtual evening of art, music, dance, and spoken word by some of the most talented Black artists in the Capital Region. So it seems like it's going to be a forum where there's going to be a lot of people there. And I feel like we should be positioned to start getting information out. What do y'all think?
That's a great idea. That would be a starting point. Monday. So do you have flyers and things made up? I mean, printed?
No, I don't, but I mean, that's relatively easily accomplished. I think the only thing that needs to be added to that flyer is the email address. And maybe a link to the website.
So you just need someone to hand those out.
Well, I mean, I think as many of us that can attend should attend. I mean, I don't think it should be just one person. So I guess it's a question of who is available to go to that.
I think I have a meeting on March. You said Monday, March 1st at what time?
No, Monday, February. It's Monday coming up.
Yeah.
At 7 o'clock.
This Monday, that's February what, 28th.
Yes.
Marie,
Okay.
is it in person or is it virtual? Because it's saying virtual. Is it both?
Oh yeah, it does say virtual, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we can, because I have it on my, because I was like, wait, I thought it was, because I was planning on watching it. But I wonder if if there's something we can get to the organizers.
Do you know who it is?
That's what I'm trying to find out on my, on Facebook, because they made it an event on the Facebook page. Because I mean, there's quite, I mean, I guess that's something that we probably should have someone do too, or make sure we're keeping on our radar is, I think we might have missed an event, like Larry, I think Barry just presented for Black History Month as well at maybe Proctor's, like there's been like maybe keeping our pulse on different events that we can promote at, because there's been a lot of Black health and wellness like events or community events where there's been a lot of people to spread the word. But I'll dig into this, like, to figure out. I think I can even email the organizer. It's the Palace.
I think at one point they had attempted to create a site that like provided a calendar of like Albany events or Capital Region events. I don't even know if that still exists. Is anybody aware of whether or not something like that still exists?
I know they used to. I don't know if it's still there anymore. I haven't seen it in a while.
Right, me either. I know what you're talking about, but I don't know what happened to it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
For our PR funding, though, could we be strategic and maybe publicize in certain people's, like, I don't know if maybe this might be of interest for the whole commission too, but the Palace has a lot of events coming up, so if they're giving out any flyers or their playbooks, if they could put like redistricting information inside of all of them, because there's like Kevin Hart's there's a lot of different events that are coming up that throughout this whole redistricting process. I don't know if that's something in general that we want to do too, just because there's a lot, like we just missed the step show, for instance, like there was a playbook for that.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, I usually go to the step show and I didn't even realize they were doing it.
so I can I'll reach out. It looks like the Palace is the organizer, but in general, like I'll even ask like what are promotion opportunities there, because there's a lot, like just look, when I clicked on the Palace, it had the list of events that are coming up, and there's a lot that are family focused, but some are it's targeted too. There's a lot of community events that are coming up there.
Yes, I
Okay.
see a lot of things on Facebook as well. There's different organizations within the within Albany, especially in, you know, our communities of color that have different events within. So like Snug and different organizations. So I can tap into that as well. Because I always see emails about different events. So I'll see. Yeah, I'm sure I can reach out to them as well.
Okay, so as you know, and as we see like different events, we should be focused on the organizations that are holding those events, because those are organizations that should be on the list
Mm-hmm.
of
Right.
community organizations.
Mm-hmm. Right. I thought, yeah, you're right. I'm working on that list too. So yeah, I can do that.
Okay, so I mean, anything else on this community engagement plan? Also, I know so there's like different like stakeholders like in different community neighborhoods that like really have the pulse of those specific communities. You know, they really have a sense of, you know, how to best, you know, do outreach and how to best engage those communities. So how do we like tap into that expertise in terms of gleaning insight from them and input from them relative to what might be the best ways for us to engage their community members?
Mm.
Not only that, they will also have information on venues in the communities that might be, you know, that might be a good source to have information.
Mhm.
They would just, I mean, they would be privy to a lot of insight that we wouldn't necessarily have if we're not part of those communities.
Mhm.
So how do
I-
we tap into that knowledge base and use it to make our outreach and engagement going forward effective?
I'm on the West End Arbor Hills Steering Committee, so I can we meet once a month, but I do have contact with Arlene Way, so I can let her know. I'll add her to the list, and a few others I can do.
I mean, there maybe there's like
Main Source.
Or maybe there's like a subset of individuals that we can request a meeting with for the purposes of I don't know, getting insight from them and doing some brainstorming around, you know, how bad information broadly out.
I think that's a great idea, because then we can even just update them too on where we are and what we're doing. And then they may even give us more ideas of like we can share our community-based list with them. We can share almost being like an extension of this group to really bring it further into the community. So I like that idea. And Arlene came to my mind too, Adrian. Was the first person that came to my mind.
Yeah. She would be great for that. So I'll email her and let her know. I'll send her, well, we didn't do that press release thing yet, right? But I will add her to the list for resources. And also she would be the person to contact as far as keeping her in the loop and her being able to filter the information to other organizations, because within that committee there are a lot of organizations, especially within Albany County, that are part of that steering committee. So
And
I
also
forgot.
like,
Yeah.
and I mean, also thinking in terms of like, I mean, at different places, there's like community bulletin boards
Mm-hmm.
that house information. So trying to identify where that might exist, where we might be able to put information. So, I mean, I feel like it's different forums. One is getting information in people's hands. Two is getting information broadly sent out, say via email or some type of listserv. Three is posting information in places that people frequently frequent. Yeah, I didn't want to say frequently frequent. That sounds redundant. I was looking for another word, but it makes the point. So putting information in those types of places, posting information in like libraries, maybe
Seems like we
even
need a committee itself, or to do that.
Exactly. Yeah, that's why I was saying I wanted to like create a work plan right when I read this, because I was like, okay, now we need to like put in like who's responsible for what
Mhm.
things need to be like
Right.
flesh it out.
Right.
Mhm.
and I don't think it is I don't know that it's a committee. I think we are the committee, and I think this is the meat of our work.
Yeah. Yep.
So there
Yeah.
might be like different arms of it that might
Mhm.
need to be handled by one or two individuals versus the whole group. But
Mhm.
I think we are the committee that needs to be doing this.
Yep. I think another communication outlet too, Marie, is actually going in the community and like presenting, like, so like A Village just came to my mind too, because they
Yes.
do a lot of forums. They've been doing a lot of
Mhm.
education around housing and eviction, all the moratorium, a lot of different any topic that's hot in the area that they're serving. Like they hold meetings on a monthly basis, but they have a lot of participation from the community. So we could even, if we could take 10 minutes or 15 minutes at least, just to educate people on like who we are, where to find us, give them our public hearing information. But I think it'd be good to even just go into the community, not just like look for people to come to us,
No, yeah,
but
I agree.
drive into those programs that might already be in existence.
I agree.
Also,
we
would you
need to-
guys like a date on our team's calendar to come and talk to the community
I think that's a
Yes.
good idea. Like, we should probably
Yeah,
write
sure.
like which meetings should we go to, or which ones
Mhm.
already exist. I think that's
Mhm.
almost like a task too, is just to find out what different, besides our community organization list, like what meetings could we jump into and maybe take up a little bit of space in the agenda.
Oh, okay.
So I think we should start like getting the flyer out. I'm gonna I'll look at it and I'll add like the email address and the website link. And then I think we should start getting that out. I'm gonna take a look at the press release document. There was some discussion in a meeting about a press release versus a public announcement. And there was a sense that information can go out more broadly if it's a public announcement versus a press release.
Mm.
Because if it's a press release, it's only media based and it depends on who's watching or who's reading, or whereas if it's a public announcement, you could send it everywhere. So I know the NAACP has been reaching out looking for information. And they had indicated that once they got anything that they would send it to their affiliated organizations as well as to the listservs that they use. We had talked about it before because I had asked them if they had a list and they said that they couldn't provide us with a list, but if we provided them with anything, they would get it out. So do y'all feel that we are at that point where we should start finalizing those documents and distributing them?
Yeah, and I think we should even come up with like a slide deck too of, and we're probably gonna need this anyway for the, I would imagine, the public hearing at some point. But we probably should even come up with like our presentation that we could take almost on the road when we're meeting with different partners, or with, not partners, with different like coalitions, and that it's just keeping that consistent language going. I think we're there too.
Okay, so let's work on that because yeah, let's work on that because we're going to need something for that first public hearing. And I had reached back out to Patricia because in the rough outline she had like 5 minutes Larry, 5 minutes me, introductions of committee members, and an education piece. You know, so I said to her, I said 5 minutes is not really like a long time. How much education are we going to do? I'm like more than half of that might end up being the introduction of the committee members. So she said she just put that in there. But it could be whatever we need it to be. So let's start working on that. I mean, I feel like we have a lot of information between like different documents that have been developed that we could pull stuff out of.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And so if everybody can start thinking about that, I guess all of us could start putting something down on paper relative to what we feel like an education piece needs to include or what it should look like, and then we can just pull it together.
All right, that sounds good. So we've got that, we've got this. If you don't mind, or if the group doesn't mind, I can like take this, this draft plan and try to move it towards where we have roles, responsibilities, and timelines wrapped around it. Like I can make
Yeah, that would be good.
okay.
Yep, I agree. Break this down a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I work best when I'm thinking about going out, or maybe once you revise or revamp the document, I would probably go in, pull it up, make copies of it, and then as I travel, I would then start to hand it out and talk to people, because like I'm on the African American Culture Center. I work with the Center for Law and Justice. I mean, I know those organizations, but I would be approaching them, on my own, saying, here's some documents, and discussing with them and things like that. Or I may even get out there on the corner and hand them out to people as I'm walking through, because that's the way I am. I don't know how to put that into a plan, because I may show up anyway. Because if I had a flyer, I would have asked the folks. I went to the Capitol Rep over the weekend to see the play about the Tuskegee Airmen. Knowing me, if I'd have had the flyers, I would have been handing them out there and talking to people, because I saw a lot of folks there. And I also went over to see, at Troy Music Hall, but I don't know if I can do that. I would do it because that's just me.
Well,
Here.
you can do that. We just need to get the documents finalized. You
All
can
right,
do that, and all of us should begin to do that.
All right. Well, when we get the documents finalized and we get it, make sure it's finalized, I'll print up, I don't know, 20, 30, 40 copies, and I'll just do it that way.
But the part about putting something on paper, I mean, it's not related to that. It's related to like having a presentation.
Okay.
Where we can go in front of people and provide like consistent information.
All right.
Like Adrienne was talking about giving us an audience with her group. Y'all talked about a village. There were a couple of other places that were talked about. So, I mean, when we have opportunity to go in front of the community, there's like an education piece that needs to be like a upfront part of it. So that's what we're talking about in terms of putting something down on paper.
All right.
Well, so it's defined and it's delivered in some consistent fashion, whoever is delivering it.
Okay. Okay.
But all of us as individuals representing the work that we're doing should endeavor to get the word out in whatever way avails itself.
Okay.
Okay, I don't have anything else.
Me either, but I'm eager to work on this part on translating. I'll probably send this out either today or tomorrow, because I'm just gonna sit down with it now. Trying to think what else. Now we have recording, so I'll review that to catch all the minutes up as well.
Okay.
Anything else?
Well, I called Donna, but she hasn't gotten back to me yet. I need to find out if she put in the application. You all said you haven't seen anything, Marie, right?
No, I reached out to Nicole Chambers to see if they had gotten anything. And she said she was gonna check, but she didn't get back. So Friday was yesterday, Friday or Thursday was that snow day.
Yeah.
Friday was that snow day, I think.
Well,
So,
I'll give Donna another call when we through with our meeting. Okay?
yeah, because that's the other thing. So there is another candidate that we should interview.
Okay.
And if she applies, I guess we will also interview her.
All right.
But we can't do anything until she applies.
Right. I'm gonna find out from her if she has a, because she told me she went out there and at the time she couldn't find it. But then I sent her the link to be able to go out there. So I'll follow up with her on that.
What's her name?
She knows you, Donna.
So we also have a candidate that we interviewed a while ago that we have not closed the loop with.
Who's that?
Okay.
I think his name, he was this guy that lived in Cohoes that had a business.
Really? I thought we had closed the loop on everybody. Huh?
I think his name might have been Rodney Dion.
Yeah.
We interviewed him around the same time that we interviewed Dominic.
Okay.
Oh, that guy.
And then we went with Dominic.
Yes. Oh, okay. So he's still interested?
I mean, we never closed the loop on him. I assume he's probably still interested.
We never got back to him?
Nope.
No, I thought we did. I thought. Well.
So, I mean, he's still out there as well. So what do y'all want to do with that?
Well, I would suggest that what we do is we check with Donna and we interview this other candidate to see what the two of them look like. And then once we make a decision, then we notify everybody. And we just say that we were in the process of interviewing candidates and, you know, it took a while to get back to them because that's been a while.
Yeah, it has.
Yeah, so my suggestion right now would be before we get back to him and say no or whatever we're going to say, we should first interview hopefully the two candidates. Right now, it looks like we may have two more candidates to interview.
Yeah, we could probably schedule the other one.
Yeah, but I would like to interview the other two first before we get back to him with a yay or nay.
I'm only 4 years older than you. So now I'm sure you can count from there.
Any other comments?
Good answer.
I just quickly, am I supposed to speak about the open meeting law or what?
I think you were supposed to create a checklist.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to run down. I got it here.
Patricia sent out a document that gave a pretty good overview of open meetings law.
Well, yeah, I looked at hers and I thought it was okay. But when we talked about, I think we're talking about under mine, didn't it say items that we should be concerned about for each meeting? If you want to go with hers, that's okay. Hello?
Oh yeah, nope, I'm here. Can you, do you have it like typed up? Do you want to send it around or
Well,
do you want to share what?
I want to run through it real quick because I'm not sure. I outlined some areas and in each area I put some, some bullets. I don't know.
So I think you should put it in a document and you should send it to us.
Yeah, all right. Who wanted to know? Donna Bullock. That's the young lady. Somebody wanted to know Donna who?
No.
Yep, I wanted to know.
Okay, Donna Bullock.
It's Donna Bullock. Okay.
Yeah.
You'll be here. A little slower, but you'll be here. Take it.
Okay.
All right.
So
So Larry, so
Larry, put it in a document and send it to us. I mean, the rules are gonna be the rules for every meeting that we have.
Right?
I understand. Okay. All right.
I don't know what to call.
I mean, it doesn't have to be like a formal document. I mean, even if you write it on paper, you can
No, I
probably
just
take a,
want to make sure that we cover certain areas. I mean,
yep.
mine didn't really get into the rules of the law. Mine was basically items
I got cheaters on now.
in terms of areas that I think we all should, probably just be aware of.
Do you?
yeah, that's all we need.
Okay.
This is what the law says that we have to do.
Well, all right, let me just run through this quickly. You tell me if this is something that really we need to do. All right, first of all, when you talked about
Excuse me.
Hello? Hello?
Go ahead, Larry.
Yep, you're here.
Okay, first of all, I started out when it says open meetings. I wanted to know the open meeting statute itself. The open meeting statute is closely related to the Freedom of Information Act of 1966. Okay, that's what really started the open meeting statute. Some people will argue
But
that
we don't really need, we just really need
Well,
a listing of what we have to do.
well, first item is talking about the public's right to attend the meeting. Okay. The next one I had was the meeting notifications and accessibility, dates, times, locations. How far in advance should meetings be posted or notified? Reason for meeting. Then you got to talk about meeting materials, public access to materials. How should materials be given to the public and all of that. Then you got documentation regarding meetings, minutes, recordings, etc. Then you have
Right,
storage of the meeting documentation.
that's what we need.
All right, storage of the meeting documentations and how should it be stored? Where should it be stored? For how long should it be stored? Then you have the public's right at meetings, speaking, to be heard. I mean, all of this is part of that. So we have to talk about, when we give a meeting, I'm assuming we're going to allow the public to speak. So all of that has to be,
Well, you don't, okay, so.
And then I didn't see where there were any penalties for violation of the laws, but there may be. I don't know.
So there are our meetings, like these meetings, where the public has a right to attend but does not have a right to speak.
Right.
There's public meetings and public hearings. In public hearings, the public has the right to provide input in those hearings. And it's just a question of what the format is going to be for scheduling them to speak or whatever.
Yeah, okay.
We're also going to have a public meeting, which is basically going to be for the purpose of introducing ourselves, providing like some education, and giving them the opportunity to ask us questions.
All right, I'll flush this out.
But yeah, that's the information that we need. I mean, the guiding principle with the open meetings law is that the public has the right to attend every public meeting. And that all meetings of certain bodies that are public bodies should be open to the public. And we fall under that. We're a public body, and so our meetings should be open to the public. And so knowing that there's certain things that attach to that, and you just ran through a list of different aspects that attach to that. relative to notices, relative to
Material,
publishing.
material, noticings, you
Yep.
know, s- documentations, documenting the meeting, whether it's through a recording, minutes, whatever. All of that has to be considered.
So yeah, so that's what we need. So what we want to try to do is create a checklist that just provides information on each step that we're gonna have to ensure happens in relation to our meetings.
Yeah, because I think they said that they wanted to, with the meetings, they wanted to give like a 2-day or notice, but I think the law says you're supposed to give a week.
Well, for a public hearing,
Yeah. All right, well,
so I don't know, but anyway, that's the stuff that we specifically need to know.
all right.
You know, there's also some indication that, you have to put an agenda out. Like,
Yeah. When you
there's
do,
a notice of the meeting and there's when you have to put the agenda out.
right. And the reason for the agenda should cover the reason for the meetings. Any materials that you have that you're going to provide should be available. And in some cases, the material should be available prior to the meeting.
Right. So that's the stuff that we need to know. We need to pull out the specifics of that.
All right.
All right, so yeah, if you want to put what you've got together and send it to all of us, I think we should spend more time on this next meeting too, because it'd be nice to create like a checklist before each, so that whenever we're gonna hold a public hearing, we make sure we have all those things in place.
Okay.
So, I mean, even if all you do is provide bullets, that'll be enough for us to create a checklist.
All right.
I mean, we could give it to probably Nasim, and he can put it in a checklist.
Okay.
But we need the specific information that would go into it.
Mm-hmm. All right. All right. I'll get it done.
So probably what's going to happen is on our webpage, we're probably going to have a schedule of like our meetings.
Mm-hmm.
And then once we identify dates and stuff for our bigger public meeting and hearings, we're going to have a schedule of dates for those.
Mm-hmm.
So, Kashana, the only other thing that I was going to say is you should consider whether you want the interns to do any work on our minutes before we give them to IT to publish them, to make sure
Yeah.
there's some consistency in them.
Yep. Nope, I will definitely take advantage of that.
I think Justine can probably look at those minutes and put them in a consistent format.
Mm-hmm.
So we can give them to IT to upload them.
Yep.
Adrian, do you have anything else?
No, I don't. Not at the
Okay.
moment.
Okay, looks like Connie's gone.
Yep.
I'm trying to
Okay,
catch up,
so-
playing catch up.
Well, she's still in Tennessee,
Poor
so
thing.
she's gonna be flying back on Monday.
Yeah.
So I'll stop recording.
Mhm.
Okay.